Hello and welcome back to 4,000 and Counting YouTube channel. I'm Watty. This is Mark. We are back again following yesterday's NIHL All-Star video. Today we're gonna look at the run-in for both MK Lightning and Leeds Knights because we're kind of thinking the Peterborough Phantoms 8 points back currently. Same amount of games played as Leeds, both played 43 games. I think they're going to be out of the running with like the amount of games that they've got left. I just think it's too much. Mark, how are you, mate? What do you make initially? Do you think I'm right in leaving Peterborough out of the mix?
It's a surprise, isn't it? We were saying off air like a month ago they were right up there, but I said months ago I said MK were my favourites to win the league. I just wanted to be a bit different. A very very strong side as we're going to get into. So yeah, I think you're fair in saying Leeds and MK for the title race. Let's go.
Okay, right. We're going to start off. We're going to have a look at the Leeds Knights remaining fixtures. So Leeds have these fixtures to go. Their home games are as follows. They have the Pitbulls, the Bees, the Seahawks, the Wildcats, the Bison, and MK. Their away games: Pitbulls, Phantoms, Wildcats, Bees, Tigers, Bison, and MK. Now, crucially, those two games against Milton Keynes come on the last weekend of the season. Saturday, April the 1st, Sunday, April the 2nd. It's going to be wild. Everyone's going to want to be at it, especially if it stays this tight. Mark, do you know what before we get into the kind of breakdown of the fixtures, where do Leeds currently sit? Games played, points, etc. Do you want to let the people know?
Yeah, so currently Leeds are at the top 43 games played, 35 wins, 4 losses, 4 overtime losses, 74 points overall. Just want to chuck in
Pretty
there
good. Pretty good.
235 goals for and 107 against.
Yeah, they're very dominant. They've been excellent all year. So only the 4 regulation losses, obviously 4 OT and shootout losses as well, but they're running at a very good points percentage. So going back into their fixtures, let's have a look and see where we fancy them to pick up points, potentially to drop points. Now, the first one is Pitbulls at home and Pitbulls away. Now, that's a 4-point weekend all day for me.
For Leeds, yes, I would agree there.
Well, yeah, not for Bristol. Sorry, Bristol. This isn't a dig. This isn't a dig, but you're playing Leeds twice. Bristol had a great season so far, and we're going to be talking about them in our up and coming video where we're looking at the title race today. We're going to look at the playoff race and who's going to take those final couple of spots, that 7th and 8th spot. So we'll be talking more about Bristol in that video for the Bristol fans. Moving on, so we're calling it a 4-point weekend for Leeds there. Takes them 78 points. The following 2 fixtures: Bees at home. That's another 2 points for me. So that rolls them up to 80 so far. They then have the Phantoms away. This could be a potential banana skin for Leeds. You never know what's going to happen in Peterborough. They're head to head this year. We talked about it in the NIHL final review, how close the games are. Phantoms at least get them to OT in that game for me. I'm gonna go a Leeds loss in OT because it can't all be fucking smooth sailing, can it? Can't just like smooth your way right into the title. I think there's going to be some adversity they're going to have to go through. But still, I still fancy him to get a point. So 81 points. They then go home against the team that inflicted their biggest defeat on them of the season, 4-1, the Swindon Wildcats. And no, Leeds are going to have too much. Leeds are going to have too much at home. They're going to want a bit of redemption after losing in their barn 4-1 last time. They're going to win and take themselves to 83 points. They then play the Wildcats away. Now, Leeds' form's been good away, but I think after losing the night before, coming back down to their own barn, I'm going to go a Wildcats OT victory. So, again, if you're keeping track with the points, because my ADHD is going, woo, right now. What does that take us on to 84 points? Because that's they would have the win at home would take them to 83, and then another loss away would take them to 84.
Yeah.
Then Bison and Bees, one home, one away. Home win against the Bison, 86 points. Away win against the Bees. That's 88 points. And then they have Telford Tigers away before and the Bison away. And then they've got MK. So 88 points. I think they beat Telford away. I think they beat Basingstoke away. That's 92 points. And then it comes down to that last weekend of the season. You have MK home and away. I'm going to be a total fence sitter bottle job. And I'm going to say one home win, one away win. 96 points for the Leeds Knights. Would you change anything there? Where would you maybe mix anything in? Who would you fancy to take points off them? That might be the easier question.
I agree with pretty much everything you've said. I reckon Phantoms will beat Leeds, like you say, in overtime, and the double header at the end, which is by far like one of the most highly anticipated games now that I've just seen that on paper.
Oh, it's amazing.
I think I'm going to stir the pot. I'm going to say MK win both of those games.
Ooh. So in that scenario, would you still have the Wildcats winning at home?
Yeah, you can't write the Wildcats off.
So I did. Right, so if you're saying the Wildcats at home, but you fancy MK for both, that would be the way you see it would be 94 points for Leeds. The way I see it is 96 points for Leeds. That tells me one thing that we got to do. We've got to now look at the Milton Keynes Lightning. Right, so as I was saying, we're going to get to the MK Lightning. Mark, roll with me. MK Lightning's fixtures. Let's have a look at their run and lead us off. What you got?
So we've got a double header first off. The Raiders both home and then away. What do you reckon to that one? Right,
home and away. I think they win their home game. So correct me if I'm wrong. MK start on. Oh, we could tell the people actually. Have you got MK's current point total and win total, etc. there, because that kind of gives us the lead into what we're going with these points here.
Yeah, so just to recap, 74 points for Leeds there. So MK, we've got 35 wins, 44 games played, 35 wins, 7 losses, 2 overtime losses for 72 points overall.
So they are currently 2 points back and 1 game extra played. So, yeah, you said they start off with Raiders back-to-back. Now, the Raiders have been good this year, and I think MK will beat them at home to take them to 74 points. I think the Raiders might nick one this weekend, although the MK, looking through their fixtures and results over the year, they've put some absolute beatdowns on teams. Like, we're going to get into like their highest wins and losses and stuff of the season, but rest assured, if you go and look back, how many 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s plus MK have put away this year, it's very, very good. With that being said, I think the Raiders are going to get a home win. So 74 points for me. What about you? Wins or losses?
Home win, definitely. Always favour MK at home. Overtime loss to the Raiders.
Okay, so a little extra point for you there. We then have the Pitbulls at home, which is a home win for me all day long. I think that's for my liking, that's them on 76 points. The away game is the Bison. I think they have too much for the Bison down in Basingstoke. Takes them to 78 points. What about you?
Yeah, I favour them at home against the Pitbulls. Bison is a tricky one, but I think they'll get the road win there as well.
Okay, and then they have the big derby, if you can even call it that anymore. But yeah, in the comments below, Peter, any Peterborough fans watching along, any MK fans watching along, do you still class it as a derby? It doesn't seem to have the niggle it used to have on EPL, and it just seems to have got away from being a derby, but maybe you guys disagree. But with that being said, I think they are going to get a home win against the Phantoms in a very crucial must-win home game. I think they get it done, take them to 80 points, and Steel Dogs on the road. Sheffield are very tough to beat at home. I think Sheffield win at home, and that leaves them on 80 points. Their final running gives them some opportunities because they've got a couple more away games than they have home, but they then go back home against the Tigers. I think they beat the Tigers at home. They have the Bees away. I think they beat the Bees away. They then have the Seahawks away. I believe they beat those away. And then it comes down to that Knights, and I said they split the weekend. So for me, I think if I've done my maths right in my head, I think that takes MK to 90 points, and Leeds, for me, win the title by 4-6.
Yeah. I think there's again, I'm not copying you, but I kind of agree with what you've said. I would say that the Phantoms game though will go to overtime, but they'll win that one at home.
Yeah, so they still get that extra point in that scenario. I mean, Peterborough getting a point doesn't make any difference to
Steel Dogs.
To the...
I want Steel Dogs though. Steel Dogs away, like you say, they're incredible at home. But that, for me, do I have to give an answer to that now? Because
because otherwise the video will be finished.
Steel Dogs, it depends for me on their availability of players. So
again, if Steel Dogs have a full roster, then at home they're very tough to beat. Greg Wood's got very well drilled. Defensively, they're solid. They got Z in goal. If they got Huey and Biz firing all cylinders, Bonner's healthy, it's a tough place to go. It's a tough place to come away with 2 points. But yeah, so let's look at some of the individual statistics. Let's look at the goaltenders first. It's the two goaltenders that we both picked in our all-star selection: Sam Gospel and Jordan Headley. What's their kind of win-loss ratio? Their save percentages this year.
So we'll start with Gospel. 39 games played. He's got a 2.56 goals against average and a 0.919% save percentage. With Headley, we've got 33 games played, is 2.89 goals against average and a 0.907.
So we are talking the bare minimal in it, 0.2 something extra goals against per game, and -1 on the, what did you say, 90.7 versus 91.9? Yeah, we're splitting hairs at that level. What about their wins and losses? I know Gospel's played the majority of the games in Leeds. Headley's Smittle's played some games. He came late, so
Gospel's played 6 more games, so he's got 39 games, 31 wins, 4 losses, 4 overtime losses. Headley, 33 games, 25 wins, 6 losses, and 2 overtime losses.
Okay, and just going to chuck it in there that the MK, before we get to their top points, their top wins of the season, one of them came at the weekend, 11-2 against the Steel Dogs. One of them, the biggest win of the season, I don't think anybody else has won by this margin, was MK versus Bristol back in October, where they put 15 past them for a 15-2 victory. Biggest win on the road for those guys, 9-0. Couple of 8-1s in Basingstoke. I was at that game. They were very good. And then for Leeds, we talked about it in a previous video, but their biggest loss of the year is only 4-1 against the Swindon Wildcats. What a joke. And they've put a couple of 9 spots on the Pitbulls, the Raiders. So I think goals are not going to be a problem to come by. We've got goalies that can stop the puck, as you've just said there. Let's go across and look at their top point scorers.
Right. Stating the obvious here when we go with Leeds, huh?
Yeah, well, who could it be? I wonder. Mr. Kieran Brown, what a shock. In fact, stats on Elite Prospects still haven't been updated from the game against Basingstoke at the weekend. But prior to this, he was 40 plus 43, 42 plus 43?
43 plus 42, 85 overall.
Okay, so he scored in that game and he maybe got 1 or 2 apples. So he's up about the 88, 89 point mark now. Exceptional talent. Running out of things to say about him. Risks of getting tired from stroking him off every fucking epi. But he's he just, I forget he's only 21.
Scary.
It's a joke. It's a joke. He could be as good as he wants to be, that kid. Absolutely phenomenal talent. Anything to add on that other than he's scary? Because he is scary at that level.
We're stroking him off every week. I don't think we need to say anymore.
Yeah, fair. What about MK? Who's leading the way for those boys?
So for MK, leading the way will be... Are we going to do a dropout onto that? Because I've just fucking... Where have I written?
No, it's all right. That's all right. Don't worry about it. We make mistakes here. That's how we fucking roll. MK, what have we got?
So we've got Sean Norris at the top, 39 games, 24 plus 45 for a 69 overall. We got Tim Wallace. Let's crack
That's
on
all right. No, what about
because...
Tim Wallace? What about Tim Wallace? Because he's one of the best players, if not the best player I've seen play this year.
He's a phenomenal player.
But I kind of leave him out of some of the things because the guy played X amount of games in the show. Like, I expect him to be good at hockey, but watching him in Basingstoke when they put the 8-1 on Basingstoke this year, he was different level. The way he sees the ice, his vision, his passing, knowing where to be, when to be there, timing, absolutely exceptional.
Yeah, I saw him play when he first came to the country. Actually, I met him after that game. He's a cool guy. So yeah,
great guy.
MK, he's got Tim Wallace has 41 games. He's got 15 plus 51 apples.
Sounds like Matt Bissonette assist numbers there.
Yeah. So 66 overall.
Very good. And other guys that we talked about previously in different videos are like Shudra for Leeds. He's right up there. Hayward's up there. Brooks is up there. Some guys putting big points up left, right, and centre. MK, Talbot, Liam Stewart. I mean, the list goes on. It's going to be one hell of a battle. But with the way I see it, I'm going to leave you guys with our final prediction. And our final prediction, I'm going to stick with what I had at the start of the year, which was Leeds. And if my kind of calculations right, Leeds either 94 or 96 points, MK 90 points. And that is the victory. What about you? You stick with him? Because you wanted MK initially, didn't you? You're not... Maybe you can squeak it out.
I'm taking this as a neutral. I know people think I'm a phantom, which is technically true. As a neutral. Yeah. As a neutral, I want MK to do it purely because of all the hype on Leeds. And by the way, I like Leeds. I've got nothing against them. It's great what they're...
There's a reason people are hyping.
Oh, yeah. But I'd just like to see, because no one's sort of like bigged up anyone else. So I'm going to back Lightning on this one.
Oh, by the way, one of you two teams better win, because if the fucking Phantoms win now, we're going to look like a sack of dickheads. So one of you two teams both shit the bed, and then the Phantoms just win like 11 straight or something. Yeah, like, come on, don't do that to me. Even if they did, even if the Phantoms were to win, wait, how many games have I got? 11 left. 22 points, 66, 6 on 88. 2 of them would be against Leeds. Leeds would still finish on 92 points for me. So, yeah, an MK there or thereabouts. But yeah, that's it. Leeds Knights, the NIHL 2023 Champions for me. But if you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, comment. The interaction's been great. In fact, our video we released yesterday was over like 1,300 views in like the first 10 hours, which is amazing. So thank you very much. We do appreciate it. We're going to keep building this content, bringing new topics for you every day. So next up, we are going to be discussing who we think makes the playoffs out the bottom there. So stay tuned for that one. It'll be out later today. Enjoy. Have a great day. And we'll see you again tonight for another epi. Peace.